Nigerian workers continue to groan the economic hardship, and the country, as the organized labor persists with its demand for 56,000 naira minimum wage in an International Workers' Day rally. Today, the Nigerian economy is faced with recession as the economic experts project 0.8% GDP growth rate. What are the present statistics of 13% unemployment rate and underemployed rate is 29% of the Nigerian population. Now, as the federal government plots its economic recovery and growth plan, what is the fate of the Nigerian worker? It's question time. Welcome to the program. I'm Benga Ashiru. How do you explain an economy where 64 billion naira is spent on travels and just 19 billion naira for building of roads? This is the sad reality that the Nigerian economy is faced with. That's the 2016 expenditure. I just rolled out a piece of that now. And why is the Nigerian labor force at the receiving end with an 18,000 naira minimum wage in the face of inflation and high cost of living? Channels TV crew was at the Nigerian Labour Congress office in Lagos. We had a chat with the NLC president, Comrade Ayuba Waba. We began by taking a close look at the 2017 theme of the Workers' Day, which is securing a decent job for social and economic development. How relevant is this theme in the Nigerian context? That's the question.
Well, to the Nigerian context, it's very, very important. And I think for us to drive processes of development, certainly the economy must be doing well. In any situation where the economy is not doing well, it then becomes very difficult for us to meet our aspiration goals and also meet our developmental challenges. So for us, I think as workers, this theme is not only apt, but I think is appropriate. And that is why also the theme of this year's May Day, jointly chosen by NLC and TUC, is to look at industrial relation and an economy that is in recession. An appraisal. Basically, we have tried to look at this because of the fact that workers create wealth. In every economy that the system is working perfectly, workers create wealth in different fields, from healthcare to education to manufacturing to agriculture. Workers have enormously put in their best to create wealth of those nations. And that's why we are trying to appraise those challenges that we have passed through, particularly in Nigeria, in our economy that have actually entered recession.
We have a very depressing statistics now with 13% unemployment rate, and underemployed is 29% of Nigerians. How can this deficit be breached?
Well, the employment situation in Nigeria, as we have rightly put it, is like we are sitting, all of us, on a time bomb. Because every system depends on its youths to drive processes of development. But here we are in our country today because of the challenge in our system. One is the fact that we don't produce anything. In most cases, we only consume. And therefore, we are an import-driven nation. In most countries of the world where issues of employment have been addressed is where you have the organized private sector, the manufacturing sector, our agri sector are into production. We must be able to produce to be able to create employment opportunities for these teeming youth. We have the opportunity, but I think we have not been able to get it right. And therefore, I entirely agree with you that we are sitting on a time bomb. The statistic is even higher than what we think it is because of the fact that I think some of these statistics, which they quote as a little above 13%, as unemployment rate and underemployment, because in the context of the definition of ILO, in the context of Nigeria, graduate will find something to do, and that is underemployment. If you graduate and you are selling pure water, you are not defined as somebody that is not employed. You can be said to be underemployed because what you are trying to do is not what you are doing. So this is the context of the definition of ILO.
The federal government is proposing 1.5 million jobs by 2020. Do you think that is feasible?
Well, it is feasible if we're able to put our critical infrastructures into place. First is the fact that Nigerians are not lazy. Nigerians are blessed with ingenuity. But I think we have an environment, an investment environment that is actually very hostile. our companies and industries are closing down by the day. First, because of the fact that power, which is very, very important in any manufacturing sector, is not there. The privatization of the power sector have not actually yielded any result. And that's why the position of Labour is that the privatization must be revisited because we are going the wrong direction. Two, you can see also that the tariff have continued to be out of reach of industries. Most industries have complained that the present tariff regime, even where there is power, and where the power is not even sufficient to drive production and industries, the tariff is extremely high. So there are a lot of factors that are not in place that need to be in place to actually create the chains of benefit that can be able to stimulate the economy and that will be able to create the necessary employment that is required.
You are mobilizing against the National Assembly to remove the powers of the federal government to determine the minimum wage to the state government, thereby removing it from the exclusive list to the concurrent list. Why do you think this should be?
Well, let me tell you the philosophy behind minimum wage. Minimum wage is to fix a minimum salary both public and private sector will not pay below the minimum. And the philosophy is to actually protect the most vulnerable group of workers from exploitation. It's a core convention of ILO, the International Labour Organization, because after the Second World War, where there have been exploitation of workers and workers are treated as slaves, the issue of making sure that there is a minimum protection floor to protect workers against exploitation came into being.
On the flip side now, one could argue that the economic indices from different states vary, and thereby the states should